Uh, Good evening, everybody. It's Kirk and Snuggles here. Kind of want to talk, kind of feel the spirits. They want to chat, and got my little shaman helper here. Oh, if you don't know who this is the fabulous Snuggles Poochie of Manhattan. Snuggles. Okay, take a breath. So we're finally kind of slipping into 2016. Hmm. I'd like you, if you're watching this, to consider that animals are natural Buddhas. They are natural Buddhas. Animals are Buddhas. They come from the seventh dimension, and they draw from a different energy than humans. They draw from an article I read said they draw from the seventh dimension. I guess we're just going to call this spiritual update number 2, 2016. Snuggles, do you have anything to say before we face the camera and get serious? So they draw from the seventh dimension, which is basically unconditional love. So in today's world, if I have anything to say about it, I will work ceaseless, endlessly, and tirelessly to make sure that our animals are protected, because animals teach us about love and unconditional love. And if there surely was anything that this planet needs, what the world needs now, it needs love. It needs compassion and kindness, which is love. And it needs respect and protect. Oh, so from what I understand, let me just it's kind of late night. I'm winding down. I worked all day. I'm in my PJs. I'm not like in my boxers or something. These are like, I don't want to show you my legs. It's kind of embarrassing at my age. uh, so what do I want to? I was tossing out stuff. I'm kind of getting ready to, do my TV show for next Monday, which I do, and I have been, and it's a labor of love. And I've been doing it for the last 10 years. Oh, let me just get comfy. I don't know where we're going. It's a channeling, people. What I was thinking was, that I made a video about 6 years ago called Shaman, Witches, and Mediums Are Born. And I think I want to kind of talk about that again and a little more. So let me just find my YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I've had it like 10 years. According to YouTube, I have over 125,000 hits right now. I don't even know how many subscribers I have. Let's see. But I got to tell you, so if you'll go to YouTube and you'll type in Kirk Shaman or Kirk Spiritual, you'll get my YouTube. And it says Kirk Spiritual. You'll see a picture of Snuggles and me as my latest video, 2016 number 1. But this video, Shaman and Witches Are Born. And I want to talk about that because, here we go. I posted 3 years ago, Shaman, Witches, and Psychics Are Born, July of 3 years ago. So it says number 83. I hashtag everything and I number everything. So it's a little easier to find stuff. In 2015, it was 2015 number 1, 2015 number 2. So this is 2016 video number 2. And it's basically, if you want to watch the other one, it's 45 minutes long. It says Shaman, Witches, and Psychics Are Born. I'd like to add to that. I think people like bankers and people that deal with money guys, money people, money women, I think those types of people are born as well. we've kind of got like a moonlight, starlight thing going on here. Look, oh, it's like the purple ray happening. It's the purple ray. This is kind of like what an angel looks like, actually, when they're like around. I'm not saying that's it, but they kind of look like that. Like they like do that. You can only even like being a stellar medium mystic that I am. You can't always fully see them. They kind of like they like do that. See that thing where the purple thing where they just and then they become opaque again. So, I've been channeling my entire life. I believe I am a natural born channeler and a natural born medium. And I don't think mediumship and a true medium, you can't teach somebody to be a medium. I don't think you can teach somebody to be a musician. I think musicians are born. I think musician poets are born. I think poets are born. Uh, so I don't, you can teach somebody about poetry. You can teach them to write poetry. Or an artist. You can, like a natural born painter, like a Van Gogh. You can teach somebody the techniques and the technology of painting and stretching a canvas and color, and you can study light and shadow and composition and draw. And then we see that guy or that woman, girl, who can literally, I knew this guy that could illustrate anything. And you would just even ask him, like, he would say, tell me what size you want. So not only could this guy take a photograph and completely and perfectly recreate it, I saw him do it. Like, I saw his work. He could also do it in any size. That was a gift. And now, so he was born with that. He was a natural born illustrator artist. He wasn't like a creative type of artist where he was bringing new forms, but he could illustrate literally with his hand anything. Like there's an artist, I think it's Rob Estes maybe, and he takes and creates paintings that look like photographs. I think it's Rob Estes. Estes? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's try painter. Painter. So to be able to, yeah, here it is. Estes, Richard Estes, Estes, and he creates these things. They're primarily, most of them I've seen are based in New York. And they're New York street scenes, and here's one of a bus. The point of view is from the inside of a bus and looking out to Times Square, and they're actually paintings, and you would swear they're photographs. So I encourage you to check this guy's work out. What he does is, obviously he was born with that gift. That's not something you can teach. So this guy that had this gift to be an illustrator, he, God bless his soul, Peter, he destroyed himself with drugs and alcohol, and he ended up becoming a cocaine addict. And it's no secret that I'm clean and sober. I'm in my 32nd year of sobriety, and I didn't say anything. Like, I would see him, and he was in my circle, and he was doing like an 8 ball of coke a night and drinking a bottle of Kettle, and all the coke and all the Kettle, and he got insomnia, and he ended up overdosing on sleeping pills to try and get some sleep. And I watched this arc of this guy for about 10 years until finally I was, at his memorial looking at his ashes in an urn. So, I don't know what the connection is between being an artist. Let me just stop this. Being an artist and being an addict. but for whatever reason, I think what we need to do is teach our kids. If you're an artist with an incredible gift, you're a poet musician with an incredible gift, you're an actor with an incredible presence as a gift, and you're born with those, you're going to have a natural predisposition to addiction and alcoholism. Don't ask me why that is, but it's pretty much tried and true. And I did a TV show in my TV show, which I have a TV show, a public access TV show. You can call in any Monday night, 11:30 p.m., channel 1997, or you can watch it live stream with social media plug-in on mnn.org, or you can just call me, and I will be there live to take your call at 212-245-7273. Goes right into the studio where I do the show. So, shaman, witches, mystics. I was having an evening meditation here, and I get most of my ideas from my meditations. I have an evening meditation tonight. It's not a regular thing because I wake up and I pray and meditate anywhere from 20 minutes, which is when I work with a client. You guys want the angel light gone? 20 minutes, which when I start working with a client as a life coach or to teach somebody about their own spiritual gifts, which is a thing that I provide as well on my website, kirkspiritual.com. Anytime I'm teaching somebody about spiritual connection, it is mandatory that you either have a history of a meditation practice, you know about a meditation, and you're willing to take at least bare minimum 30-day, 20 minutes. And if in a life coach sense, I'm not going to toss out other things until you get the spiritual basics down of at least a 20-minute meditation. A 7-minute meditation for beginners is a long meditation. 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes is that's like a long time. If you've never meditated and you've never touched the silence and the connection and the divine center within, they can't do it. They cannot do it. I meditate sometimes up to 3 hours in the mornings, and I can do that because basically I work from home. And so, I don't have to check my email every 15 minutes. I can check it every 3 hours. So I don't have to be I don't even have a cell phone, actually. I've never had a cell phone. So if you're still watching this video, for whatever it's worth, you're looking at, a human being that has never owned a cell phone. Believe it or not, I do not have a cell phone, but I'm connected in other ways. I have an Instagram, I have a YouTube, I have a Twitter, I have a Facebook, I have a Vimeo, I have a Pinterest, and I have my email kirktv@gmail.com, and I have a YouTube with almost 50 hours worth of spiritual topics programming. I specialize in spirituality. I am a fifth dimensional, twin spirited shaman, and I usually channel directly from the fifth dimension if I'm going to channel from somewhere. And once again, I don't think that being a medium can be taught. I know that's not probably what a lot of people don't want to hear, but I've had clients, and I don't really talk about my clients publicly, but I've had clients that said, I want to be this, and I want to learn how to be this. And, it's just like being a witch, quote unquote. Now, the term witch, if you go on Instagram or you go on Pinterest, the term witch is, in the 70s, it was like everybody called Stevie Nicks a witch, and it was like a really bad thing, and she's a witch, and burn the witch, and, it's just this horrific history of let's kill witches, whatever that meant. And it was primarily fueled by the Catholic Church. to rape people of their property and their money. Because there was laws that said, well, if we burn you as a witch, we get all your land. Yep, that's the law. We made it. And, so what is it? 1,000 years later, and what's really changed? In any event. So, I don't think, witches, like if I give a class on being a witch, I'm a born witch. I had people call me a witch my entire life. You're a witch. It's pretty obvious you're a witch. And I didn't know what it meant, I never had a cauldron. I was never like dancing around a bonfire. I kind of sort of know about Wicca because I've done a couple shows on it. I'm not a vegan. So there's just all these misconceptions about, if you watch like in the 90s, I don't know, there was like 4 TV shows about mostly, women, female witches. But I believe a witch is a witch is a witch. Whether you're a man or you're a female, it's primarily a female identified term, but I just think you're a witch, you're a witch. It's kind of like an artist. I don't think there's a dual gendered name for artist, is there? There's not, right? You're either a musician or you're not a musician. You're either an artist or you're not an artist. They don't say, oh, female artist or, male artist. She's an artist. So I'm a witch. I was born a witch. Whether I dance around a bonfire with a bunch of gay guys and a bunch of gay witches or a bunch of straight witches or a bunch of female witches, if I burn sage or I never burn sage again, if I never read a book on witchcraft, which actually, now come to think of it, I've never read a book about witchcraft. I've never read a book about witchcraft. I've actually never read a book about being a medium either. I'm a triple threat, and if you've seen my videos, I was born the real article, and when I was growing up, I had to figure out what the hell I was, and I didn't know. And there wasn't people around to tell me until, number 1, I got sober, and number 2, I came to New York with no money, and I got sober all in one fell swoop. So I didn't really catch my breath financially, spiritually, metaphysically, psychically, and my power for about the first 20 years I was clean and sober because of the way I moved here. I moved here with no money. I didn't know anybody. And, it kind of just like, yeah, I went to New York with $7. I said, I'm not leaving. I don't give a shit. I'm not going back to LA. So, and then I had to like learn about being gay. It's just like gay people are born. Same thing. You don't choose. I can teach you and tell you like all this stuff about the gay world and the gay community. You're still not going to be gay if you're not gay. So what's the point? The point is, I never read a book on witchcraft. I never, wanted to be a witch, but lo and behold, still a witch. So witches, shaman, musicians, we're all born. And I was thinking like, I just watched this. I went to the Tai Lopez conference, and he held a conference in New York. And what I'm trying to do in my life and what I try to do with my clients when I talk to them is I find out where they've lost their weakness. This is in a shamanic sense. And any shaman, and by the way, shaman are chosen. I believe shaman, to become a shamanic healer and a shaman, you had to be chosen. I don't know if shaman are born because you become a shaman by having a test in the body in this life. But I think you are born and chosen to be a shaman before, and whether or not you survive the test is a whole other. There's a woman I just found. I think her name's Sarah Petruno, and she is I want to say Sarah Petruno, and she's got it going on. She is like uh, got it going on, and she's got all these books, and then she's also got it going on in the this material world, because there's always been more of me in the spiritual world. One of my weak points where I've lost my power is I never had power in this world. Like, it took me a long time to learn to clean my apartment, clean my clothes, make sure my physical body doesn't smell. I brush my teeth. I was hygienically challenged the first 15 years I got sober. I had one outfit. Literally, I was just like, hey, jeans, t-shirt, white t-shirt, black t-shirt, hoodie. So, and I think that's the same for a lot of people that are very, very metaphysically, spiritually, psychically connected. We have a really, really hard time in the material world because, number one, we're so used to creating things as thought forms, and we're not used to time. And so a lot of us chose to not, like, if you read a lot of New Age books, and the more New Age books you read, they're going to say, you come from the other side, you sat down with a counselor and your spirit guides up in the dimension you're from and said, this is what I want to experience. This is my idea about my body or my parents or the place I want to live, the place I want to grow up, and these are the challenges that I want to experience. This is what I really want to do. So they either say yes or no. You make a soul plan, a life plan, and you incarnate. And it's just basically, I don't think it's I don't think everything is minute for minute for minute. I think you map things out as an itinerary. So, for instance, say in the material world, I'm going to go to, I want to go to the Greek islands. So you're going to, research the tickets. You're going to find out. You're going to read about Greece. You're going to say, I want to go to these islands. But then when you actually, get on the plane, something different happens. The plane gets delayed. You land in Athens, and then it's a rainstorm, so then you miss the boat. Like, I just think it's an itinerary. It's just like if anybody's made an itinerary, no matter how hard you stick to it, for good or for bad, you might miss an island. You might go to a new island that you didn't even know was there. You might see an attraction that nobody knew was there. Nobody knew about it. And all of a sudden, you might meet a new person, and that will take you off. So I think that's kind of like life. I think we have an idea. We can have a very clear idea, a very strong idea. What's the point of this? The point is that for a lot of us who, we agreed to take the shamanic test and become full shamans, we incarnated as natural born trance mediums, which I am, and also a witch. And, I the minute I got a set of tarot cards in my hand, I was like, I know how to do this. I'm home. The minute I picked it, it's just like a natural born musician. Look, right by my bedside. I have, I don't know, like 15 decks here. And, oh, here we go. The minute I got, did I just show my legs or undies or something? I hope not. I'll have to watch it. But once again, I'm in my pajamas. Anyways, I love these. This is like an oracle deck. I love these lovelies. Everything about them is beautiful. Angels of Atlantis. This guy's a total witch. God, I can't remember his name. But go to his website. I love his website. Stuart Pearce. So we were talking about Sarah, Sarah Petruno. Sounds Italian. And she talks about shamanism. So what was the whole point of that? The point was, there was so much of me on the other side that, like, I had a really hard time. And so I must have gone to these counselors before my incarnation here and in this life and said, look, I'm not going to like have the mind erase. And this is a very, very common thing. When you talk to like ancient old sages, and they're very, very few and far in between. Once again, in my meditation tonight, this is one of the things I wanted to say. True mediums, a true medium is really rare. An absolute shaman is very rare. Whether it's a male or a female, it's very rare. And, there's more witches that I've seen than anything, actually. I've seen a lot of witches. I know a lot of witches. I know a lot of fucked up witches. I know a lot of great witches. I know a lot of witches that, they pray. They might even be Christians. We'll save that whole thing for another argument. We don't have time to go into like, oh, you can't be a Christian and be a witch. Yeah. Oh, you can't be a Christian and be gay. Well, you're looking at one. You can't be a Christian and be like Jewish. Well, you're looking at one of those too. I must have gone to my counselor and I must have said, here's the closest, truest thing I can say about myself, other than like shamanic healer, natural born trance medium. It took me like 10, 20 years to step into my full shamanic power, and I'm still not in my full power. But this woman, she like has it together in the material world. Don't ask. She must have a lot of Capricorn going on. And she's got to be a workaholic. But of all the blogs I've seen on shamanism and everything, I just ran across her this week. She has got it down, man. She's got a blog, she's got books, she's got courses and intensive and meditations. Work with me, new to shamanism, meet Sarah. So I wanted to give her a little plug. I don't know her. I haven't bought anything of hers. I don't have any idea. Hi, my name's Sarah Patrono, and I'm a shaman. My goal and purpose of this little corner of the internet is to help regular people understand shamanism and how it can apply to their lives using practical, everyday, no-nonsense language and techniques. So, as far as like witchcraft goes, I've just never done anything like that. Like you watch TV and you're like, oh, they're burning something around a cauldron, and I never did that. And hey, guess what? We had this meeting once, me and my like kind of witchy shaman buddy Jeffrey Label, and with another guy, and he was like, he brought all this stuff, and he was like east to the east and west to the west, and we were just sitting there, and like him, me and Jeffrey, we just like give it up to goddess. If you're gonna throw a spell or an incantation, I mean Tony Roberts, that self-help guru. He talks about when he does affirmations, he's like, don't do an affirmation. This is Tony Roberts. Do an incantation. So, witchcraft is like all around you, or what you would call witchcraft or white magic or miracles. I pray to this guy. And we all know who that is, right? Jesus is a shaman. I talk about it on my TV show. I talk about it in my videos. I believe Jesus was, if you want to call Jesus a witch, he was a shaman. He was a magician. So I was thinking in the meditation anyways, that like, I saw this talk with this guy, Tai Lopez, and he gives these webinars, and he's always talking about Warren Buffett. And, I was just thinking like money people are born. I know for my own thing, I'm a natural born trance medium. Part of me is on YouTube saying, hey, you want a real medium? Give me a buzz. You want to spend time with me? Give me a buzz. You want to open up and get a spiritual connection? Give me a buzz. I can help you get connected. I can help a fucked up witch be a not fucked up witch in the material world. So, to clear the point, when I probably mocked up and created this life, as my first teacher told me, a lot of people wipe their memories of all the other lifetimes and the other side, because it just gets too confusing, I think, for most people. Like, to be able to remember the other side, you wouldn't want to be here. When and if you remember and know how much unconditional love is in these other dimensions that we live in, and then what we come here and suffer this separation, it is a bone crushing juggernaut of pain. And I always knew that. I always knew, you know, when people ask me, there was like this weird test, it's a psychology test, and we want you to look at the wall and describe the wall and tell me what the wall is and tell me your favorite animal and all these weird psychology tests. So when they said, describe the wall, you come to a wall, what is it? So I'm going to give you a minute, okay? Because if you've never heard this test, I want you to describe the wall. What is your feeling about the wall? What does it look like? So, what are we at? 30 minutes. So, the wall, are you ready for your test, your psychology test? The wall represents your thoughts and feelings about death. And when I took that psychology test, I was like, it's the most peaceful thing ever. And I was like 12 years old. I was like, no, it's peaceful. And, some people are like, oh, it's the end. I'm frightened. It's darkness. I'm like, no, it's not. But I've had 5 near-death experiences, and the last near-death experience I had right over this bed, actually 10 years ago, was like the minute all of these beings of light, these angels showed up. I was like, where have you guys been? You think this is funny? You think this is funny? Like, I need help. I need guidance. Haven't you heard me? My mantra is not God help me. My mantra is make it clear. Make it clear. Make it clear. Make it clear. Because, I'm going for sane, sober, solvent. Sane, sober, solvent, serene. And then success. And anyways, seeing this woman on the thing. So, most people, I think they just get the brain wipe. Yep, you're not going to be able to access, your soul. You're not going to be able to access your soul memories. You're not going to be able to access the memory of another side. And you know what? For whatever reason, how it happened, I walked in and I had like full knowledge. Then I started drinking because I just couldn't stand it. And a lot of the people I work with that are like recovering addicts and alcoholics, they are, they drank because there was no permission to be what they were born as or what they incarnated as. So, we had to dump all this alcohol and drown out our more psychic sensitivities because, I'm in over 3 decades sober now. And I mean, you want to talk about a person that is like, I can't remember where I was. I think it was like meditating in the bath yet again. And I heard, a friend of yours in trouble. I heard my friend's name and I was like, you got to contact this person. So I told my spirit guides, don't talk to me a lot. I can't stand a lot of, the material world is so overstimulating as it is. I'm like, look, I don't need you guys chatting me up. I got spirits all around me. They know you're a medium. It's just like kind of that part in the movies is real. Other spirits know you're a medium. Especially like this one time, this guy's grandmother that had passed. This actually happened. I was working as a bartender. Talk about spirits. Talk about there's a reason why they're called spirits, distilled spirits. You're working in a bar, man. You were like, a lot of witches are bartenders, trust me. Because it's like you're just pouring these you're full of spirits. You're full of spirits. The spirits are around you. You're giving people spirits. You're intoxicating them. The low lighting. It's kind of like being in, a type of meeting, a type of portal. And, alcohol helps you to access portals. Like I said, real mediums that can find what you're looking for, open a channel, find a channel, and find the information that you're asking about. Because I don't really channel like dead relatives. That's absolutely like the last thing I do. I will do it for a client, but I never promise it. If a client wants to hire me to like do their tarot cards, I have like a full life reading session. But I don't like, if somebody comes to me and goes, I want to talk to my grandma, I'm like, you know what? There's other people that promise that and will do that and do it better. A lot of times in a session that will come up, and I'll go, all right, and I'll just get mom, 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 mom. And so you ask. You know, that's the other thing. People think because you're psychic, you just know everything and you're entitled to like the entire whatever of the entire, you know, every answer is just right at your beck and call. That's not necessarily true. You can know things. But like I said, is there a book around here anywhere? Here's a book. Okay, I'm a psychic. Oh, prove it. Prove you're psychic. Read my mind. Go ahead. Like you get all this rage, all this evil shit projections at you. You're not a fucking psychic. You're fucking bullshit. Like I've had fights with people. So I don't like walk around going, hey, I'm a psychic and a medium and a shaman. I don't do it. What I think one of the things I'm trying to do in this lifetime is to neutralize all of the bad energy and bad projections around what it is to be a natural born, spiritually, let's use the G word, genius. I'm a psychic genius. You know, I was born as a psychic, spiritually connected, old soul sage genius who had 5 near-death experiences and stepped up into my shamanic power. And, you know, I'm just like, hey, look at me. I'm a guy. Where's Snuggles? You know, I have my familiar. It's called a familiar. I didn't even know that. Come here, boo-boo. Oh, you have to work, Snuggles. She's laying around. Oh, this is my angel and Buddha of love. So, you know, when Snuggles came to me, like every witch usually has an animal or a couple animals around them. Usually a cat, actually, but some of us are dog witches. So when I saw Snuggles, I was like, I know Snuggles. I've spent lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We are true, true soulmates. We are true soulmates forever. Look at that. I get to live with this in my house. So anyway, so one of the things I'm doing, so, you know, hey, I'm just a guy with a dog. You know what I'm saying? There's so many misconceptions about like what it is to be a medium, what it is to be psychic, and what it is to be a witch. You know, when you tell people, you know, what do you do for a living? I just tell them I'm a therapist. You know, unless they're specifically saying like, you know, I'm interested in what you do. Okay, kirkspiritual.com. Go to my website. I don't even know what I offer, even though I'm the one that created it all. Let's see what I offer. Kirk Spiritual. I have a blog that I don't really keep up anymore that I wrote about spiritual healing arts things for 10 years. I've done my TV show. I've tried to educate people for the last decade, over a decade. I have had this public access show where you can call in and ask me any question about anything. All things spiritual, mystical, and magical. So, you know, I chose, and it chose me. It definitely chose me. I was born that way. And, you know, it would be the same if you were a musician. You know, whether you ever pick up an instrument or whether you ever read a book about music, you're still going to be a musician. And if you don't play an instrument that you favor and you don't learn the technology, you're going to suffer. And so, you know, there are things and spirits around me that want to work through me. They want to contact me. You know, I have a choice, but if I don't offer my psychic and spiritual healing art services and the healing that I have studied and learned for the last 30 years, I will suffer. I will probably end up becoming an active drug addict again. Because that's what happens to a lot of artists when they don't practice their art. A natural born artist, musician, poet, writer, actor, whatever you are, if you're not on that path of what you chose before you were born, you will suffer because you'll never feel right. You will never ever feel like all the pieces are in place. Something is missing. So, you know, I try to help people. I actually do help people find and get back on the track of their lives. And some of it I just point blank channel out of their aura, or the Akashic records. I don't always know where it comes from, but I know truth is truth. And part of being a medium is to filter out the bullshit and insanity and stupid shit that you hear. And part of it is to be a sage and temper what you tell your client, the person you're reading for, helping, assisting, being of loving service. You don't say like, you're going to die in a car crash in 2 years, even if you know it. Even if you know it, which is really rare. I kind of get more things like, you need to be careful. Are you traveling this month? In any event, so let's just see what kirkspiritual.com. I've tried to make the website not just like a rabid, hey, hire me, give me some money. If I'm in a healing session with a person, what you're exactly been watching, if you've been watching, and what you're looking at, this is exactly the way I am. And you're going to see me on this screen because I see 99% of my clients on webcam. I don't really even see people in person. I can read your aura just as long as you're sitting in front of me in a webcam and I can see your eyes and your energy and see you move without a hat or sunglasses. I can read your aura or your mind. Provided. That's why I got the book. When you tell people you're a psychic and they're like, prove it. Read my mind. Blah, blah, blah. If I went to a party and I told somebody I was a dentist, would anybody at that party say, go ahead, drill my tooth? Go ahead, drill my tooth and prove you're a dentist? I don't think they would say that. They'd go, oh, okay, you're a dentist. I bet somebody would be like, hey, I have 2 gold teeth, which I'm kind of proud of. Here's one. Hey, look at my mouth. Do you think this is bad? I'm sure dentists get that a lot. But as far as being a psychic, there's also, like, believe it or not, there's also I live in Midtown Manhattan. There's also like an incredible amount of enlightened people that are like, oh, that must be interesting. But you must really see a lot of things. The point being, number one, I have ethics. Don't ask me how I got these ethics, which leads me to kind of more believe that I'm more of an old soul because I'm not a fucked up witch. I don't go, a newbie witch or a newbie psychic. You can kind of tell because they're like trying to get their energy. Hey, look what I can do. And I'm kind of like, you know what? This is the honest truth. You don't want to fucking know about other people. You don't want to know about their thoughts. You don't want to know. Trust me, I don't work for free, number one. And number two, I don't really want to hang out in somebody else's mind. I wouldn't want to go and hang out in somebody else's apartment too much. You know what I'm saying? There's shit in there that you don't want to know about. There's, most people's minds, trust me, they're not clean minds full of light and love. They're not. Shit backs up, and that's why I only will do it for money now. I will only do it for money. And, I don't have any judgment. That's why also it leads me to believe like I'm one of these older sages because I'm just like, I channel the information. I don't have any judgment or any projection about, oh, you're a bad person. You could tell me anything. Number one, being an active addict all those years, I've already done that, honey, like 3 times. So I did it with, my next door neighbor. I did it down the street. I did it in San Francisco. I did it in Europe, So you're not going to tell me anything at this point that like I haven't heard. So I don't have any judgment. But you can't be a good reader if you judge your client. You'll never be a great reader, even if you have the gift and all the gifts. You'll never be a good reader if you don't get rid of the judgment of your client. You just do not judge the client. Period. It's just like a really great actor does one thing when they act. You don't judge the character. You don't judge the character. And the greatest actors ever, they don't judge the character. They just become the character. So they don't have any judgment on what they're doing. So here's the point. Hey, you're a psychic, Kirk. Yes, I am a psychic. Read my mind. Okay, how many people can read this book? Look, I pick up a book or a magazine. Can you read this? Well, it has to be opened. That's right. This is a person's mind. I don't walk around and like force my way into somebody's mind so I can like read their book, read their mind, read their chakras, read their aura. I don't want to read it, first of all. I don't care to. Unless, you've hired me in a healing arts session. And then I'm like a therapist and I take interest in your case and I say, let's find out and let it unfold. I turn it over to love, light, and goddess and divine and spiritual intelligence. We open up a session and, we have a session. Most of my sessions are an hour long. So that was the point of the book, when you tell people you're a psychic. I don't read books that are closed. I don't go and infiltrate somebody's mind. I'm not a fucked up witch. You know what I mean? And it's usually like, this is what I found. I was a butler for like 10 years when I first came to New York City back in the 80s. And what I found was, it was a very exclusive hotel. It was one of the first boutique hotels in New York City. We're going to have to start wrapping this up. The kind of like lonely little millionaire at that time kind of acted like a dick, or maybe the like quote unquote film star that like had made 2 movies, they were kind of like, hey, I'm here. Aren't you impressed by me? And then you had like these old, like Katharine Hepburn, you know what I mean? She would just like, I'd like a scotch on the rocks. She wouldn't. So, you had like a like Malcolm Forbes. I met Malcolm Forbes as a butler for him and Liz Taylor. And I ended up knowing Liz Taylor, and she would go, I went into their hotel suite this one night, and here was this guy. I knew Malcolm Forbes. I'd seen him. My dad like read all of his magazines and stuff. My dad like idolized Malcolm Forbes. So I knew who he was. And she was like, Liz, this is a mind blower. Elizabeth Taylor is saying, Kirk, I'd like you to meet Malcolm. And here's Malcolm Forbes. This kind of like diminutive, like you would think, this guy's like almost reaching billionaire. I don't know if Malcolm Forbes was a billionaire. I don't know who the first billionaire was, but Malcolm Forbes was like, he was first of all, he was a total witch. I got to tell you. Just like Warren Buffett. So let me wrap it up. In my evening meditation, I was thinking, some of these money people are like, they're money people, but they're witches too. They're like witches, honey. They're witches. They are witches. Whether they're ever like Bloomberg's a witch. There's no. He would never cop to that. He would never in his wildest dreams even have that word come out of his mouth. He's a witch. Just like when you look at Stevie Nicks, she's a witch. Everybody was right. But was she practicing witchcraft and dancing naked, with a bunch of lesbians or freaks or, you know what I mean? Like, Stevie Nicks is a witch. There's just no 2 ways about it. She writes poetry about witches. If you know what Rhiannon is about, and oh, I love you. I guess it's time to wrap it up, huh? So I think Milken. I'll bet Michael Milken's a witch. He's a very fucked up witch, but so some of these other people like musicians, Jimi Hendrix was a witch. Total witch, Jimi Hendrix. I mean, the kind of money, kind of like spell he threw in his music. Bowie was by anybody's guess, Bowie was a witch. So let's see, did we tie up all the loose ends here? We talked about, I don't go into somebody's mind. I don't work for free. Oh, the spiritual sessions. Okay, you can go to kirkspiritual.com. You can talk to me in person. You can hire me. If you want spiritual counseling of any kind, I have, let's see, what did I set up for myself with my producer, Vicky? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 spiritual services. 9 is the spiritual number. I have a 27 tattooed on my forearm from my 27 years of sobriety when I had it. which comes down to a 9. So, the spiritual healing arts. I have a tarot oracle session, uh, and it's $180. That's for 50 minutes, and that's like a full life reading, past, present, and future, and like 3 questions. Empath healing. Oh wow, some of my clients are like they're major, major, major empaths. I'm an empath. Any medium is an empath naturally, but you have different kinds of empaths. You have animal empaths, you have children empaths, you have medical intuitive empaths. So I offer a shamanic and empath healing. I teach other empaths how to protect themselves, and so they can, like, instead of hide, like most of them just end up hiding. A lot of them, drink and take drugs because it's too much. It's too much energy. They're too sensitive. They're too psychic, and they can't manage. I have learned a way to manage. So I'm going to teach you how to be able to do that so you don't have to hide. I have a shamanic healing, spirit mending, soul retrieval, and soul medicine. That's from my spirit guides and yours. I've gotten a lot of compliments on my shamanic healing services. I'm not really going to talk about them. I have a series on YouTube, which you're probably going to see this video. So you go to my page. I did an entire 5 videos, Shamanism, My Story, Kirk Spiritual. So you can check that out if you want to know more. I do intuitive coaching, and that's kind of like pretty much the most client contact I have is intuitive coaching. It's 4 hours a month, same time. You book a time, and we meet same time once a week, and we discuss anything you want to work on, and we give you transformative exercises and energy. That's $475, and you get like 2 or 3 emails during the week if you want contact with me. Consultant spiritual assessment is $99 for 45 minutes. Tell me your story, tell you what's going on, and I'll tell you, can I help you, or I can't help you, or I'll direct you to another healing art services, or another person that I feel is better qualified. Or so that's just basic. I had to do that because so many people were contacting me saying, I want to talk to you, can you tell me this, what's what's your psychic reading on this. These very long 7-page emails, and I read every one. And I return it, and I say thank you. But what I did, and they're like, can't you give me an answer? And after a while, 7 to 10 to 15 emails a week, plus like all my clients and their emails, I can't keep up with it. So what I did was I just created a spiritual assessment. I can probably figure out most of what's going on after like 10 minutes, but sometimes we got to dig a little deeper. And the person, like I said, you can't read a closed book. Part of being a great medium and a great sage and spiritual advisor is knowing how to get the person to open up so you can read. And when you go into a reading, a lot of times in the very beginning, they're shut off because they're scared. They don't know you, they haven't worked with you, and they're just like, he's going to judge me, and they shut their energy off, and you're like, I'm not getting anything. You know how many times I've had to tell people, like, open up. You want me to read? You're going to blow $180 here because I'm not going to be able to get anything. It's like if you went to a dentist, but you refused to open your mouth. Yeah, no, I just want you to fix it. I don't want to open my mouth. And I tell people that in my sessions. If I was a dentist right now, you would be sitting in my chair and you would be saying, I want you to fix it, I just don't want you to look in my mouth. That's kind of makes it very easy, very clear, and very palatable for people. I need you to open your mouth. I need you to open your aura. I need you to open your heart chakra. I need you to open your mind. I'm not going to do anything bad. I'm not going to hurt you. We're going to say a prayer. Everything we do is going to be from a space of love and light with peace, joy, and safety for all. I'm a good witch. I'm not a fucked up, bad witch. I'm not a drunk witch. Oh boy. Whew. You want to talk about a fucked up witch? The most fucked up witch is the witch that doesn't know they're a witch. That's a fucked up witch. But if you want to get even more and stack it even worse, a fucked up witch doesn't know they're a witch and they're an active addict or alcoholic. And everybody in New York City has worked with that person. Like if you watch Suits, and there's like the total hot black chick, like she's the, shaman of the universe type of character, she is awesome. You know what I mean? She's like the head owner. And then there's Harvey Specter, and he's like a witch, shaman, master of the universe. And then there's the other guy, I can't remember his name. And he's like, I want to get in and I want my name on the door. That's a fucked up witch. Okay, they're all witches. But the one that's like always, I can't remember the character's name. He's the fucked up witch. And guess what? Everybody has worked with that person. Everybody. And I just feel like, sometimes I'm just like, sweetie, you're a witch. The worst witch is the witch that doesn't know it's a witch. And it like doesn't know what it is. It's kind of like a dog that's never seen another dog. It doesn't really know what it is. So that's all that. So, in a spiritual consulting, I can, if the person is just, hey, you came to me as a consultant, I need to be able to read what I need to read. You need to assist me on your end. Open your mind. Okay, that's what I tell like a client. I send them an email before the session. I say you're gonna need something to write down because you're gonna want to make some notes. You should probably buy some sage at Whole Foods and a candle. And in the preparation of all that, and then I say, do you have the candle? Light the candle as your sign that you are willing to, hear what the spirits and your spirits guides have to say. So that makes it kind of a lot easier. Let's wrap it up. I have a compassionate listening, 45 minutes. I'll listen with or without feedback. And, I based all of these services on like, what would I like to have? I'd love to be able to pay somebody $100 and go, will you listen to me for an hour? Yep, just listen. I just need to talk it out. Raise your hand if you'd really love somebody to just listen to you. And then maybe give like a minute of sage feedback on something. You're not looking for an answer. I'm not looking for you to fix my life. I need somebody to listen to me. Snuggles, she's like a great listener. In any event, develop your gifts, your spiritual gifts and psychic abilities. That's 3 consecutive weeks, 1 hour a week, same time, same day of the week, and that's 325. That is a deal and a steal, trust me. I'm going to teach you what I've learned in 30 years from all my other teachers and from all my reading and from all my client sessions. I'm going to teach you in 3 weeks for $325. You talk about saving time. That in and of itself will save a younger person that wants to develop whatever psychic gifts and spiritual abilities, spiritual gifts and psychic abilities that they were born with. I wish. Most of these sessions I made up, I wished like at some point, I wished I had this. I would have, instead of a therapist, a mental health therapist that's going to fucking run you into the pit of depression and death and suicide. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. But, all these sessions are like, I wish I had this 25 years ago. I wish I knew somebody. We didn't have the internet, but, I wish I knew somebody that like provided compassionate listening or, hey, Kirk, give me $300. I'm going to help you develop your spiritual gifts and psychic abilities. Wow. And, all my stuff is priced very low for my ability level, my knowledge level, and, being 30 years sober in like, on like 5 issues right now. Talk about tempering, grounding the impossible. Okay, let's wrap it up. I'd like to thank you. I have some other things. My basic spiritual healing art session is 50 minutes, and it can be anything. We just ask the spirits, and then we work on it. Spiritual healing arts basic session is 180 for 50 minutes. And then I do have a late night fixer. Late night fixer. Yep. you can keep me on retainer, or you can just email me. I'm up late usually. What time is it? 9 o'clock. I'm usually up till like it's only available from 11 p.m. until like 3 a.m. If you're a very high powered person and you're working on a case, or you got to be on a film set, you got to keep your head together, you don't know what the hell's going on, and you need somebody to like put my head together again. I've made that call. I make that call in sobriety all the time. You know what? My head's fucked up and I'm in a bad neighborhood. Put my head back together. And I have my, you know, support group of people that know how to do that for me, and I provide that for them. So, but I provide that to my clients. So it's a late night fixer, and it's $300. All right, look into my shaman eyes. Look into my shaman eyes. I'm clean and sober. Do I have the eyes of the shaman? Yes, I do. Shakti. I'm giving you a free healing just for watching this far. And if you've watched this far, I'm sending you a free psychic healing right now. So if you want to subscribe, or you want to type in the comment section, Kirk, I watched all the way to the end, I will read the comment and I will send you a free psychic healing. If you want to hire me, you want to know more about what I do, I've tried to make my website a labor of love, and it's a website of service, actually. There's a lot of stuff about, getting sober, how I got sober, my story. All my client recommendations that they wrote, I asked them to write something about me, but I didn't tell them what to write. You can read all those. You can get links to my YouTube TV show, and articles that I wrote on how to tell if you're an empath, how to tell if you're a shaman indicators, which brings me back to that woman. I highly recommend her. I took one look at her and what she's writing about, and I'm like, she's a real deal. Yep, without a doubt. Her name's Sarah Petruno. And I looked at her too, and I'm like, Kirk, you better start. That's my last name. Don't repeat that. Kirk, you better start writing some books, man. Look at that. She's got like 10 books. So I'm kind of like getting ready to write a couple of books. Because everybody's like, Kirk, write a book. Will you write a book already? Will you write a book? First of all, write a book about your life. I've lived like in Greece, in London, Los Angeles, New York. I basically had a second home in Key West. I mean, like I've covered some ground, not to mention all my addictions and all my addictions. And Snuggles, of course. And I should write a book about my relationship with Snuggles, because it's probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. So, we're going to start singing Gladys Knight and the Pips. 'Cause you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Okay, Kirk and Snuggles. Kirk, spiritual.com. Kirk on YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Vimeo, Dailymotion, Twitter. You just go to Google search, you type in Kirk is a Shaman, New York City. You can find me. You want to talk to me in person? 212-245-7273 every Monday on my TV show, live. Yep, anywhere in the world. Or kirktv@gmail.com. Shakti, thank you. Like I said, if you watched all the way, leave a comment in the comment box, and I will send you a free healing, and you will get free blessings, and your life will get blessed. Okay, guys. I have a very devoted audience of YouTube viewers, I gotta say. So I know most of them will leave the comment, and in the next week I will be sending out the blessings. And whenever I read a comment, I'll send it out. So look into my shaman eyes, Shakti. Namaste. Thanks for watching. May all your dreams come true. Shakti.